Profundis Omnis is the debut full-length album from Krakow, Poland-based funeral death doom metal band Postmortal, and they've cut their ranks down to a duo for this record. It was kind of a long walk up to this path here, and they started back in 2015. It didn't really work out after an EP release, and they decided to revisit much later down the road. And I think that if you're a fan of funeral doom metal from the 90s, you'll understand where they're coming from. They kind of switched away from like the My Dying Bride, the Mourning Beloved kind of sound, which is a little bit more straightforward melodic death doom without the gothic side. Now they're switching over to something a little bit more rhythmic, a little bit more stark, and probably closer to what I would consider maybe like an Ophis record or even the Funeral Orchestra more recently. And that means they've stripped everything back to just their own presence and a well-designed atmospheric sound. We'll get to a clip here and you'll get to hear what this sounds like, and then I'll talk a little bit more about how this record sorts itself out and why I liked it so much. There's a cold starkness to classic funeral doom metal, especially on a demo level, that is difficult to recreate. Funeral doom metal is probably better received with a ton of production nowadays, and this is kind of the opposite. It is stripped back to the most raw idea of it, and that kind of early 90s point where death doom metal and funeral doom metal were fusing on purpose and otherwise as the genre kind of came together. It makes sense that you reference maybe the first esoteric demo, or that I'm talking about like a Desecracy record early on. There are moments where you're just there with the guitar and it's doing its thing and it sounds unreal, and that's kind of the appeal to me as a fan of like the first Evoken demo or those kind of records that have the early idea of what funeral doom is in a very direct, minimalistic way. Exaggerations to a pure extreme are really what makes this record interesting. It doesn't have a lot of accoutrement. There isn't a lot that's really adding to this, so that it's vocals, it's drums, it's guitar and bass. The way that the duo put this together is not going to be for everyone. I'm a particular fan of the old school funeral death doom idea as it emerged, and the really strong exaggerations of atmosphere and form that made it distinct and deeply underground to this day. And they reflect that, but with a death metal pulverization in hand. And that's a special thing. It's a rare thing to get right, and it's something that they've really done well here, especially coming off of their 2018 EP Soil, which seemed like it was leaning in more the melodic death doom arena. So I really like this record. It's very specific to my own taste in this style of like atmospheric death doom and funeral doom. But I think if you're a fan of those old school acts and a lot of the older stuff, you will appreciate the severity of this record, the kind of grimy tone of it, and the grit that comes along with their atmospheric push. Now, granted, this is a guitar record. It's not purely ambient. It's not a dark ambient record in any respect. So I would receive it as that and enjoy it if you will. For me, this was a moderately high recommendation because I realize it's not for everyone. For me, it meets a certain high standard for my interest in this type of atmosphere and riff, and I think that for a specific fan, this will be a pretty awesome record, myself included. So check that out for yourself. It released on May 9th, and go ahead and read my written review for more of my thoughts.